And I'm using straight lines because they're just easier to make for me. Okay, and I can gauge how long the straight line is compared to like a curved line. Okay, so I just need to get the silhouette down, and the reason why I'm doing this so nonchalantly is because I'm okay with it being wrong. Okay, and you can erase too. Let me show you how to erase. Most people maybe do it intuitively, I guess, but you can just use the OMS on here, and you can like erase lines. Oh, that didn't work out right. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't always work out the way I planned it, but yeah, you can still erase. And the quicker you mess this up like that, the better, because then you can relax. Okay, it's like a bed you fall into, right? Rather than when you're like, oh no, I better not jump into that bed, because that person at IKEA is gonna. Like, I used to work there, so in the beds department. So. Okay, bangs. Okay, just okay. Where's her chin? Okay, can you imagine her in here so far? Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm going to move on then. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see here. See, look at all my guessing strokes. These are all guesses. Look, I'm not even looking. And that's basically what this whole process is, okay? Take a guess and then say, ooh, how close is my guess? Okay, what else here? Yeah, see, I can already see where I made mistakes, and that's fine, you just keep going. Just move on, you know? That's why it gives you an opportunity to say impedimenti. It's the Italian word for mistakes. Okay, and when you look at old master drawings, they're full of them. And that's what makes them great, is that they left them for us to stumble upon or study. Okay? I'm going to eventually cover up my mistakes anyway, it's pain. Okay, so most of my teaching revolves around all of my fears, all of the times I messed up, okay? And look at me now. I'm not scared anymore. I can still screw this up, don't get me wrong. Every time you sit down, it's very easy to mess up, but I'll be back on Wednesday, so make up for it. Okay, so all right, keep going, okay. So you haven't even touched the features yet. I'm going to now. Okay. So how do you divide up the face? How many sections can you divide up the face?
Thirds?
Yeah, thirds. Okay, from where to where? Let's see here. From the ridge of the brow. Okay, you see why I would do this with a pencil, but it's okay. This works too. And then the nose. Okay. Oh, look at all my guesses. Look how many. It's so wrong. But it's okay. Let's see here. The tilt of her head is very important. She's leaning to our left a little bit. Okay, so that's why these lines are. These initial marks are going to capture that gesture. Okay, let me put in this center line just to remind myself that the right side of her face, according to me, is bigger than the left side of her face because I'm seeing more of that side and it's closer to me. A lot of mistakes that I used to make, like I used to put the nose in the middle because that's where it goes. Okay? Not always, it just depends on where you're sitting. Oh, let me break this down into simple planes. I have to remind myself that. That's what I told you to do, so I need to do that too. Okay, you see the front plane? Uh-oh, I'm drawing from my head now. I have to look more carefully. Her nose is going like this way. And look at what I did. I made it go the other way. I wasn't looking closely enough, right? I do that all the time. Okay, so it needs to go back that way. Let me make this clear for you to see, because I know what I'm doing. It doesn't mean that you know what I'm doing. Okay, let's see here. All right. So let me get the side plane there. It is not, I don't see these planes as clearly as I've made them. Okay, I don't see that. Okay, I know that the nose isn't flat. I know it has at least 3 sides, but later I'm going to look more carefully and see where this plane right here is easier or harder to see. Okay, so let me see here. All right, shapes, shadow shape. Okay, so every shape is important. Light shapes, shadow shapes, big shapes, small shapes, positive shapes, negative shapes, organic shapes, all kinds of shapes. And they all fit into each other like this, okay? On this side, there isn't a line per se, but I sense a break in the plane. Like this part of her cheek, like it becomes 2 different sides. And one of the clues is that they're 2 different colors or 2 different values. Okay, let's see here. I know this looks like a mess right now. Be patient with me. Okay, let's see here. Let's figure out where her eyes go. I'm not going to finish it, and let's just do an eye there. Okay, let's put another eyeball here. We'll get to it later. Okay, just to get it out of our system. Okay. All right.
She's really ugly.
That's why
Not
this is
you.
so hard.
Not you.
That's why this is so hard. See? I'd be lying to you if I didn't think the same thing. If I look at my canvas, I'm thinking the same thing. And when you're starting this, it's going to mess with you. It's totally going to mess with you. But when you do it long enough, you trust the process. And you know that if you keep working, you're going to pull it out. Okay? Okay, so I think this is close enough to move on. Okay, I'm going to go in, I'm going to do this thing called separating the light parts from shadow parts. And I'm still using the OMS. Okay, so light parts from shadow parts. Okay, I need to have a decided difference between what's in shadow and what's not, or what's light and what's shadow. Okay, because when I go to mix my colors, I can't make the light part darker than the shadow. Okay, so it helps to figure out what goes where first. Okay, and let's see here. And again, drawing is so important. Okay, when you draw more, you become a little bit more confident in your mistakes. Because the mistakes, they're the ones that tell you what to do next. Like you don't freak out. Okay? Let's see here. Let's put in some more shadows. And not all the shadows are created equally. Some are darker than others. We have to observe those differences. Okay? And let's see here. There's a shadow shape. Okay. Wow, look at this eyeball. It's half of it is in shadow. And it's kind of casting there's a cast shadow that it's creating there. Okay, so let me just take care of that. What else here? And you've probably heard this before, but work general to specific. Have you guys heard about that?
Sounds good.
Big shapes to small shapes, right? Take care of the big things. Don't get tied down in the details yet. Because remember, if you put that nose on the wrong head, it's another way of saying that. It's just that little detail doesn't mean much. Okay, it can be the best nose or eye or whatever detail you've ever painted, but again, if the large shapes aren't taken care of, then it won't mean much. Okay. All right, so now what? What would you guys do next? Or what would you like to see done next? Because it can go any way. Okay?
What's the best way?
There's no best way. Okay?
The next darkest, maybe? Yeah?
Okay.
I wish I had candy. I wish I had candy.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty. Okay, why? That's a good place to start because it's one of the easier things to identify. Like, what's the darkest thing right now? What would you say? Under her chin,
Nostrils. Her nostrils.
nostrils,
Where your
her. Let's see here. Which is darker, her skin or her hair?
Oh, her hair. What's her hair?
Her hair. To me, that's how I perceive it, okay? Because if I look at this area where the skin is dark and the hair is dark, you guys, it's harder for you guys to see it over here. But if you see where the shadow side of her face and the shadow of her hair is much darker in the shadow part. You see that? Okay, again, look for these big relationships, okay? So let's see here. Okay.
12 minutes in, Mike.
Okay. Ooh, I gotta speed this up. Okay, time to move to color. Done with the drawing. Okay. And you know what? When you paint, I'm always redrawing. You never stop drawing when you work from observation. Okay? So let me, does that mean there's 5 more minutes on your clock, Heidi?
Seven and a half.
Okay. Tell you what, let me draw for another 7.5, okay? I'm gonna ask for another 15 minutes of your time for the color. Okay? How's that? And if you have to stay over a little bit after class, I'm sorry. Because really the drawing is really the secret to this. It's just setting up the foundation for your colors. Okay? And I didn't touch the background. That's a big problem. We need the background because this head will not feel light against a white background. Okay? We need to take care of that. But I can do that during the break. Okay, there's going to be, let's do a little bit more work here for the drawing. And you'll see that when I start to put color on this, it can go relatively quickly for what I'm asking you to attempt today. Okay, and just breaking down these simple planes, getting them in the right places. And the sooner you do that, the sooner you get to play with color. Okay, let's see that. Okay, so I'm not going to get an incredible amount of detail today. I'll try my best to get it as far as I can. Okay. This is dark over here. Okay, let me see.
And the beauty of watching Mike also work, definitely pay attention to how he's using his brush, what ends of the brush he's using to mark planes, how he's moving throughout the whole structure. You see where he's not getting stuck in any one particular place. Basically, every time he's touching the canvas, his eye has moved from one area, one general area to another. And there is no disconnect between the brush and what we're seeing, right? So one of the things that we do as beginning painting students, and even intermediate and advanced painting students, is that we tend to get stuck. We tend to get so fixated on one little zone, then rather than continue this movement. So this whole idea of drawing, we never stop drawing. Those of you who think that you don't draw, but you draw when you paint, actually. We never, disconnect from it, even though you haven't taken a drawing class per se. So.
Excellent, yeah. That's accurate. That's what I'm doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, very accurate.
And one of the reasons why I really wanted to invite Mike is because we teach and we've been trained in a very similar way, right? So you can hear that his language and the way that he speaks about the form is really no different with how we've studied and looked at light logic and mapping out form, general to specific, and now moving into the darks, right?
Yeah. So when Heidi takes a break, I'm going to block in the model that doesn't move, which is the drapery. I can still work on the drapery, okay? But I'm just putting in additional marks to kind of, for her shoulders or her torso. So that way I just don't have like a floating head. And how I'm thinking about it in my head, I'm thinking, oh yeah, this sweater is going to be easy for me, but we'll see. Okay, so we'll see. It never always works out that way, but I'm gonna. I still want to get the basic forms right, because that's what's going to make a difference from a distance. Okay, like if you see me from a distance, you can't see any details on my face, but you'll know it's me, and that's why this is important. That's why I'm still working on the big shapes. Okay, and you have to be in this for the long run. Okay, so you'll have your opportunities to work on details. Maybe not today. Okay, but if you continue to take classes, to study, or to work on your own, you're going to have your opportunity to work on details. But again, I have to remind you that if it's in the wrong place, it's going to look like my cousin, or her cousin. I mean, yeah, like or her sister or brother. Okay, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like her, related to her. Okay, but yeah, okay. Sorry, bad joke.
It was funny when you said your cousin.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to move on now to other things. I don't want to overwork the drawing because it's still, after all, it is a painting. And when I first started, one of the struggles is transferring the drawing information or the drawing experience into a painting experience. I was still, when I painted, I was still in drawing mode. Okay, and I'll talk more about that as we continue this. But okay, so this is not a shadow. Okay, but why am I doing this? Say again. Because it's. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, just it's the color of her sweater, more or less.
Yeah, yeah. Her sweater is definitely darker than her face. So let's just do that first. Okay, that's very important. More important than what color it is right now. Does that make sense? Okay. So I still have to go in and find my shadows again. But I need to have a decided difference between what's light and what's dark. Like literally, right? Like this is a darker sweater. Okay, and then I'm going to say, well, what part of the sweater is in light, what part of her sweater is in shadow. So you take it a step further, okay? Which is darker, the background or her face?
Background.